Okay, my name's Zakashi, guys, and in this video here we're going to be going into the best teams of the month for the month of December. Now when I usually do these videos, I actually do it based on the previous month, so usually it would be called November, but I'm going to start calling it on the month we're moving into. I think that's just more appealing, so it makes more sense for guys that are not familiar with this content that I do on this channel. So yeah, we're following the release of the new festival units, Transforming VB and Transforming ROSÉ. Festival's been up to a, I guess, slow start. But I think the last thing I should mention is that this video is not in order. So they're just 5 teams that I think are the top 5 teams at the current moment. Let's get into this. Now, it should also go without saying that the leader slot option is going to be relevant on a bunch of these teams. So for most of these teams, I'll keep it quite strict and keep it tag related, but just know if they are very overpowered characters, more so specifically the new festival units, so Transforming VB, ROSÉ, we also have Ultra Margin Vegeta. If you can put them on the leader slot because you have them, please feel free to do so. You don't have to follow these teams so strictly. Alright, so the first team we're going to go into is Saiyans, and you can see I've got my Temu Turlers on this team. Now, the best 3 Saiyans that you could put together, I actually have none of them, but it's a solid team that you've probably seen people running, yellow, yellow, blue. So you're going to want Ultra Turlers, Ultra Margin Vegeta, and Triku. It pretty much counters most of the meta. Not all of it now because there's a bit more variety, but it is a very solid team nonetheless, but it's not the only Saiyan team you can run. So when it comes to Saiyans that I'm going to show you, if you want to build a team, the best way to go about it would be to go to character list. Oh, the volume's up now. Go to the filter and then go to character tag. Then you're going to want to change it to whatever tag you're dealing with. So in this case, we're doing Saiyans. Press OK, press OK. Turn on the Ultras as well. You just want them all together. And I'm going to start pointing out some characters that I think are the best that you could use on a Saiyan team now. Granted, I don't have a lot of them, but it's based on you guys. So you could definitely run Nappa and Vegeta, but it depends on how you want to go with it. You know, maybe your Vegeta clan type of guy still is pretty much Saiyans. God Goku, if you're running him with ROSÉ, but the team's going to be more leaning God Ki anyways. Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, 9 stars or higher, please. Triku, I already mentioned, very good option. Turles, very good option. Ultra Margin Vegeta, very good option. And ROSÉ, if you're running Godku, they kind of have to come together. They have to be together so you can actually access that cover note easily. You get 2 layers of endurance. It's pretty nice. Now let's get into the characters I do have. So we're looking at the blues. If you want to use Bardock and Goku, they're meant to have got a plat. I'm pretty sure they do. So if you want to use them, consider doing that. Then of course we have VEGITO here. Very good option. Bomku, I've seen some people run GT and it works, but I'd suggest 9 stars or higher at least, otherwise put the fries in the bag. And then Boo Bros are actually quite a sleeper option, but in the higher ranks they're not going to do you justice. You're going to need them high starred as well. Going into the greens, we've got pretty much VEGITO. He's going to be your best option. Outside of that, maybe Pycon and a 14-star Evoken, but I wouldn't recommend anybody but Vegeta, honestly. Green's pretty weak for Saiyans. Going into purple, again, it's kind of weak. Maybe a 14-star Gold Freezer, but you'd be pushing it. G4 is obviously a contender. The main contender for purple, I'm not going to lie. I just leave it like that. Going into yellows, you've got a few more here. You've got Gogeta Blue, Super Baby 2, Ultra UI, Trunks and Vegeta if you're feeling a little crafty, but I wouldn't recommend. That's about it. And then the reds are not that great. Maybe you want to try sneaking Ultra Vegeta or Blue, but I wouldn't recommend necessarily. What I want to say about Saiyans is that a lot of the Z abilities don't mesh well. So even though all of these characters are Saiyans, they might buff a certain saga, another tag, etc, etc. So just be careful when you're looking at these Saiyans. Please go to the Z ability and make sure that they can synergize well with the whole team. Don't run this Hero Turles. He's just meant to represent Ultra Turles because I don't have him. But that's going to be the first team. We've got Saiyans. The second team in this video, we've got Future, but I wouldn't say Future is that great, but they've just got the newest option, so they're going to be able to be run. But what I've seen a lot of people do is just run Vegeta Blue, then make the team red, and I've even seen a bunch of mono reds because people are feeling that yellow ROSÉ, Transforming ROSÉ is not the best option. But let's look at what we got, man. Go to the character list. Press the filter, change it from Saiyan, and now we're going to be looking for Future. So if my eyes can locate it, there we go. Okay. Let's look at what I don't have. So Rosé is obviously going to be an option. Red Mai, people have been running her pretty solid. And of course, the Cell and Freezer, people actually like that unit as well. They're only future because Cell is from the future. So bear that in mind. But let's look at what I do have now. In the blues, it's pretty much all whack. You don't want to run any of them. In the green, VEGITO blue is going to be your main man. Trunks is supposedly all damage and no defensive traits, so you probably don't want to run anybody else but this guy. Let me actually check his Zenkai buff, because I haven't even seen it. Hybrid Saiyan, yeah, just put the fries in the bag for him, man. So it's just VEGITO blue for greens. The purples, you might want to consider running this guy, but honestly, he's a free-to-play unit. Don't expect him to get you far. Maybe this Cell at 14 stars, but I wouldn't recommend. The yellows, Trunks and Vegeta, if you're feeling crafty, but again, I wouldn't recommend. Mostly, you're just going to run green, VEGITO blue, and then red. You've got Corrupted Zamasu, you've got Ultra VEGITO blue, who's a lesser option. Even the red Zamasu can be run if you're running him with Corrupted Zamasu or Mai, and then you just spam red Zenkai buffs for future, just like I've got here as a template. You know, it would work actually pretty well if you wanted to consider it. If this slot here up here, I wanted to put red Zamasu, I could put another Zenkai buff of the Rosé Goku Black, this one here, because he's going to Zenkai buff God Key, and then Future's going to be getting that. A powerful opponent, sorry. But Zamasu and Corrupted Zamasu get that, so you can see how that works. But yeah, Future doesn't have many options, but it's a team that's obviously top 5 because of the newest units in the game. Next up, we got Powerful Opponent. I only feel like this team now thrives more than anything else because of the leader slot, but you don't necessarily have to branch out and put like an Ultra Margin Vegeta on the leader slot. Let's look at this team here. So I've kind of basically made it Buu Saga. The Zenkai buffs are going towards Kid Buu and Evil Buu. But the leader slot, you can go for a couple people here, which we're going to show, and which I'm going to show you right now. So if you go to the character list, same thing. Change the filter, Sparking Ultra. I've already done it for Powerful Opponent this time. Press OK, press OK. Let's look at who I don't have first. So if we look at these characters here, I'd recommend Omega Shenron over a lot of guys. Very good option with his Indestructible. Garlic Jr. post transform, he has Endurance, very hard to break down. Ultra Turles, the best powerful opponent in the game, and Rosé could actually be a good option depending on your star level. Let's go to the blues now. I've already got Kid Buu in the mentions, and I'd say that's about it besides from anybody else I might have shown you. Going into green, Evil Margin Buu is actually a very good option. Outside of that, it's Cooked. Going into the purples, Golden Freezer, and I'd say that's about it as well out of everybody else I showed you. Garlic Jr. is probably the same or better option than him. Going into yellow, Super Baby 2 is a contender you can use. This Broly here can be a very good Z ability option for HP, I believe. He could also be a Zenkai buffer, which is very, very good. And then going further down in the reds, maybe Super 17 if you're making a blast variation of the team. I'd say that's about it. Maybe Corrupted Zamasu as well. The reds are not that strong in general. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'd recommend for Powerful Opponent. It does have very good options. It has multiple options, in fact, and the Z abilities and Zenkai buffs are quite fruitful all the way around. So it's not difficult to build it. And then if you include the leader slot, you're going to get super far with this team. We've got Fusion Warriors, easily the most popular team in the game. Not the best, but the most popular, especially with the release of VEGITO Blue. I've got a team here that I've been using. I've been using Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, VEGITO Blue. He's protecting G4 from Margin Vegeta. Then we've also got Gotenks for the endurance factor while VEGITO Blue cancels buffs. Then we've just got a Z ability Zenkai buff for every person on the team. So we've got 2 HP buffs with Gotenks. Well, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. The red one doesn't get a Zenkai buff, but 2 HP buffs. Purple Zenkai buff using SV, who's also HP buff for G4, and then G4 Zenkai buffing VEGITO Blue. But let's go to the character list and look at other options. One thing I want to pre-warn you, Fusion Warriors doesn't have a lot of options. Oh, I forgot to take off the Powerful Opponent one. Don't forget to do that. Yeah, there we go. Just Fusion Warrior. Okay, okay. Looking at the blues, fusing Super VEGITO is a very good option. He's up there. I already spoke about green VEGITO Blue. Pycon over here if you do want to use him, but he's very second rate. But his survivability could help you, but I wouldn't recommend it necessarily, especially on Fusion Warriors. G4 is your only purple option. In the yellows, you got Fusion Gogeta Blue. Omega Shenron could also be used over Pycon. I would recommend Omega Shenron over Pycon. I forgot I didn't have him. VEGITO Blue is going to be your main option though, the green one. Yellow, I already said fusing Gogeta Blue. And then in the reds, we've got Super 17 and Ultra VEGITO Blue. Goten's going to be your main man though, which I already had him on the team. Very simple because there's not a lot of options, but there is good options, which is what I will say. So Fusion Warriors is a very solid team that you can run, but just be wary because if you don't have the new VEGITO Blue or Gold tanks, it's quite difficult to get through, especially with G4 being heavily countered by Triku, survivability, and just Ultra Margin Vegeta being so oppressive. The final team I'm going to mention, but there is an honorable mention, so hang about. We've got Majin Buu Saga. Majin Buu Saga is still great, especially for Proud Battle. Right here on this team, you can see my third option is Super Saiyan 3 Gold tanks, but there's two characters I'm missing. One being Ultimate Gohan and the other one being Ultra Margin Vegeta. Ultra Margin Vegeta is going to be amazing on this team. Ultimate Gohan's good for countering VEGITO Blue, who's coming up a lot considering he's purple. There's also three layers of endurance, sorry. Everybody has endurance. Two of the characters have buff cancellation. Ultra Margin Vegeta has his counter. It's a nasty team, man. And they don't even thrive off Zenkai buffs. They don't need it that much. It's crazy. Depending on how you wanted to build the bench though, you could actually put UMV on the leader slot, then put Hybrid Saiyan bench for Gold tanks and Ultimate Gohan. But that's down to you. I feel like the Majin Buu Saga Z abilities are all recent, 2024 updated, so you don't even need to worry too much. But let's look at the other options that you've got, right? Go to character list, change the filter. So in this case, it's not character tag, it's episode. Majin Buu Saga Z. Okay. Now in the blue section, we got Fusing Super VEGITO. He's great. Zenkai Majin Buu. I mean Zenkai Buu Bros, but over them, I would say Kid Buu is what I want to say here. He has endurance up here. Fusing Super VEGITO has the Rise and Rush mechanic, and these guys, they're just way better than they used to be, but they're a third-rate option, not going to lie. Going into green, Evil Majin Buu, a very good contender, and that's about it for the greens. In the purple, I already spoke about Ultimate Gohan, but the rest of the purples are pants. In the yellow, Ultra Margin Vegeta should go without saying, but free-to-play 18 can be a very good support for your team, don't sleep on her. And the best red option is Super Saiyan 3 Gold tanks, but you could also run Shin. He's also not to be underestimated. His disruption and his ability to annoy the enemy is great. Majin Buu Saga is a very solid team, don't sleep on it, it's actually up there still. It's probably going to be up there, and I actually dropped a video on Majin Buu Saga talking about how they basically ruined PvP. They are such a good team, man. It's insane. We've got a rare honorable mention. We've got God Key, and they're going to be the only honorable mention, as I think they're basically just a knockoff Future. I'm not gonna lie, but you could build it another way, which I'm gonna get into. This is the main God Key team that I've been seeing. You basically just spam buffs for the reds and let VEGITO Blue do his thing. You've got Zamasu, he has endurance, and you've got VEGITO Blue who can cancel buffs on this team. It's really just cycling the Zenkai buffs for the main two that you're going to be using, everybody buffing everybody. VEGITO Blue should speak for himself though, but let's get into all the other options that you could have. So let me change this, take off the Majin Buu Saga, go back to character tag, let's find God Key, it's right there. Okay, let's look at what I don't have. So down here, we don't have God Goku, and he's somebody you could actually use. Now, if you want to leader slot the yellow Rosé post-transformation, he's God Key. So with that, you got the guy over here, right, that doesn't get Covenant too easily, and he can't cancel buffs if he gets rushed or ultimated, but you know who can? Rosé and VEGITO Blue. So if you do want to run God Goku, you actually can now, especially with his explosive greens. It's very good to start combos with him, and his ultimate is quite underrated. Now let's look at the blues. The blues are not great, wouldn't recommend any of them. Let's look at the greens. I already spoke about God Goku, VEGITO Blue. Those guys should be your main two. Going into the purples, purples are not great either. The yellows are actually pretty decent. Fusing Gogeta Blue, Ultra UI, Trunks and Vegeta I wouldn't recommend, but of course if you're feeling a little risky, you know. But then in the reds, Shin and Ultra VEGITO Blue can be used. I've already showed Corrupted Zamasu and Zamasu over there. I'd say Shin is probably one of the best options as a red, but if you're going with the Zenkai buff option route like I've showed you here, then having Zamasu and Corrupted Zamasu is actually an alternative that you can run. But this is an honorable mention, so I actually think it's a lot weaker than the other five I mentioned, or at least a tiny bit. I'd take the other five over God Key any day at this current moment. But yeah, man, hopefully you guys found this video useful. I put together the best 5 teams that I could. If you did want to know what I think are the actual best teams out of the teams I put in this video, I would probably take Saiyans or Majin Buu Saga. I still think they are cut above the rest. Not to say that the other teams aren't good. I don't order this video, I just put 5 teams that I think are the most relevant, most powerful. But if I had to choose one and I could only use one, if I was meta slaving, I would take one of those two. But of course, all of these teams can get you places. There is variety, but you know, know, the units pop up here and there, always the same ones. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you haven't already, make sure to press that subscribe button. We're on this grind to 200,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.